I didn't play Psychonauts back when it came out in the original Xbox's days. Probably because I never owned an OG Xbox. But it took me until the year 2012 to play it, and goddamn do I wish it hadn't taken me that long. Because Psychonauts was, in my opinion, the last great game of its kind for 12 full years. The open-world 3D platformer collectathon was once a plentiful genre in the gaming space between Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie, DK64, Mario Sunshine, etc. But in the mid-2000s, it basically just vanished. I'm not saying that there weren't any, but there were so few with such little fanfare that it was basically a dead genre. Mario Galaxy was too linear to fill that particular space and didn't quite scratch the same itch. So between 2005, when Psychonauts came out, to 2017, when we were getting so many of them I can't really think straight, it was a severe drought. And believe me when I say that I played Psychonauts in 2012, I was amazed and excited. I bombarded my friends with Psychonauts hype on my Facebook page, I encouraged many to play it, and managed to get a few of them to do it too. The game is excellent. I've 100%ed it before, even though I didn't in the run-through on the channel, and didn't regret it for an instant. In fact, it was the first Steam game I ever got all the achievements for, though I would have with Hitman Blood Money if it had them. The characters are incredibly memorable, the music is absolutely fitting, the humor is on point as hell, the environment is well planned and accentuates the overall feeling of the game incredibly. There's lots of optional collectibles to collect, there's lots of levels to gain, there's lots of upgrades to get, but most of all there's lots of brains to infiltrate. And these serve as the primary stages for the game, like Mario 64's paintings. These are mostly incredibly well thought out and memorable, though I'll admit that there are a few of them that don't work as well as I thought the developer intended. But most of them are amazing. The Milkman Conspiracy is a stage that I genuinely look forward to every time I play the game. All of the G-Men Steve Blooms that are there, Twisty Turny Road, the ridiculous Milkman fetish, basically everything is perfect on this level. And who could forget the highly stylized Black Velvetopia? I don't know if I've ever seen a more inspired design choice for a stage in video games before I played it, and I don't think I have since. Waterloo World is similarly brilliant, both in its concept as well as its design. That's not to say that all of them are perfect. Lungfishopolis is an amazing idea in theory, but in practice it feels a little clunky and seems to take forever to get through. Glorious Theater has a lot of back and forth, and trying this with that over and over again, it makes me think that Tim Schafer was in his point-and-click adventure mindset when designing the stage. Which makes sense because he's made some of the most well-regarded games in that genre. I don't know how well it works in Psychonauts though. Meat Circus is certainly an interesting design and makes for one hell of an end level for the game, but hot damn is it fucking frustrating. You are a cockmongering fucker! Oh shit! On your fucking...
No,
Oh, okay. The other stages consist of the tutorial levels, but each of them is still very stylized and memorable, and they definitely serve their purpose. Collecting all the figments on Mia's dance party can be incredibly time-consuming and repetitive, but that's really the only gripe I have with them. The controls for this game feel very tight, for the most part, and are nothing to complain about at all. If I had one thing to single out from this game that really could use improvement, it's the game's bosses. They don't give you a lot to go off of, and even playing the game for the 4th time, I still found myself just hoping that what I was doing worked. Especially with the terrible brain tank boss in the middle of the game. What a slog! But I'm hoping that Tim Schafer and the team at Double Fine decide to crack down and double refine the bosses for Psychonauts 2. I love that pun, you guys. That's it though. Everything else is amazing. This is a game that's easily in my top 10 video games of all time, maybe even my top 5, though I think that that is a discussion for another day.
Alright everybody, now it's time for my review. That's right, Bobby the Asshole is going to review a game that Kavandre played, because I'm totally allowed to speak on this. It's great. I can't speak to the controls of Psychonauts, unfortunately, because I wasn't the one playing it. But if Kavandre managed to get it down pretty well, eventually, after he died a lot, then the controls must be pretty good. The graphics, for the time, were really good. I really liked them. Even today, they still hold up really well. The overall stylistic direction that the game went into is very unique, and I extremely enjoyed it. I love the character design. I love how each character very much felt unique. The voice acting behind them and the personalities, you really get a sense of that. I don't think we showed quite as much of that on the actual playthrough, but when he was going around in the background trying to collect stuff, because as much as he says we're not a completionist group, he totally is, we got a bit more of it. Like the little Russian kid who's like, "I will find you, bear," and the little, the odd camper cheerleader groups that just want to kill each other and die. They're fantastic, and I love them. So you get a really good sense of the characters. As for the actual game itself, the levels are very well designed. There's a lot to do inside each one of them. There's certainly replay value. You're going to go through them again and again, trying to get all the little specter things and find everybody's brains and figure out exactly where everything is at. But you get to the bosses, and the bosses kind of suck. That's the one real downfall, and some of the levels did seem kind of short. So you go through all this unique, traumatizing stuff. You learn all about these characters, like, oh no, this woman had her entire, like, house burned down with all the children inside, and there's a special room, and holy shit, that's fucking traumatizing! And you get to the boss, and it's just like, meh. It sucks. It's maybe okay. So, that'd be the one real area that I really did not care for. It's just the boss battles. But then you get to the end, it all wraps up, you get to some of the most astounding levels through the Insane Asylum, and it ends really, really well. I really liked it. The game overall was still a bit short for me, but I'm an RPG player. You know, if it's less than 60 hours, I consider it short. And I know that I'm crazy for that, and Kavandre's sitting here looking at me kind of like, yeah, you're fucking nuts, dude. You know, play more platformers. But overall, I'd say that's my review. Great artistic direction, great level design, great characters, great voicing, just bosses sucked, and I think it was a bit short.
Alright, now you've heard both of our individual reviews of this game, and now we're going to do a kind of final wrap-up. For the most part, we basically said the same things.
Yeah, it was surprising, because usually we have very opposing views on games, but this one united us.
Yeah, like the character designs are great, the levels are excellent, the bosses blow, it looks great for its time, which means that it's aged pretty well, I think, at least.
Absolutely.
You know, unique-looking games like that tend to age a lot better than the realistic games from like 2005, you know.
Yeah, if you go back and play like Final Fantasy VIII, it hurts.
Is bad.
Yeah. But one thing that I like to do is I always like to assign a number score. Mm-hmm. But I do it a bit different, because if you look at a whole bunch of number scores, like I think on GameStop's magazine, or Games Radar, or whatever, or even on like IMDb and the whole movie sites, 7 is the average.
Right.
That's your passing grade.
They're doing like a school grading system where like
an American school grading system. Let us say that, because I know a whole bunch of places do it different.
But even in America, I found out that it's different.
Right, from state to state, it is way different.
So in California, it's always been like 90 to 100 is A, 80 to 89 is B, etc.
In Tennessee, it's like 93 to 100 is A, 85 to 92 is B. And it gets weird. Right.
And we're not doing it this way. In our grading scale, it's going to be 1 to 10. 5 is average.
Right.
5 is the dead middle. That's, hey, it's what I expected. It's what I got. You didn't blow me away, but it wasn't bad at all.
Right. 5 is, tap water.
Yeah.
So
10 is, holy shit, what an amazing game. I love the hell out of this game.
Definitely
there's nothing wrong with it.
Definitely going on one of my new favorites. It is just, mwah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then 1 is, if they made Rogue One into a game. So,
fuck you. Stop hating on Rogue One, bastard.
Alright, fine, maybe it's a 2. But,
right, like E.T., the old E.T., if you look that up, that'd be a 1.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so, what were you going to rate this game?
Let's see. I'd probably rate this game a solid 8.
Yeah. I think that's a fair score.
If the boss battles were better, probably a 9.
Yeah. I personally, I'm going 9 myself. Just, I love the game. I think it's really fun to play. I played through it 3 times, and I've enjoyed it a lot each time. Actually, more than 3 times, I think, now. But, I like it a lot. I'm going with a solid 9. There's still, obviously, room for improvement, mostly just with the bosses, and, a couple things here and there. Like, just the movement on Lungfishopolis was not great. I mean, I understood what they were going for, and there's some restriction for there, but I didn't find that to be particularly fun. But, so yeah, there's still room for improvement, but I would still go 9 out of 10 with this game. It's easily one of my favorites, as I said in my personal review. So, yeah, I love Psychonauts. So together, we have an 8.5.
Okay, yeah, that works out.
Works for me.
Especially considering how cheap it is now.
Yeah, half the time you can get it for free from like Humble Store or whatever.
Yeah, just hang out for a bit. You'll get it for free. It's great.
It's well worth free. It's well worth what you pay for it when it's not on sale.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, what an amazing game.
And they're coming out with a sequel.
Oh, I'm so excited. I keep getting scared because they'll go months without emailing us updates, and I'm like, is it going bad? But then they'll send us just a fuck ton of updates at once, like I got just this last week, which was great. So I'm like, yay, there's progress being made, but it's taking a while. And I'm one of those types that's with Miyamoto. You know, take your time. Make a good game the first time rather than releasing a broken game and fixing it later.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Let's see, Batman was probably the biggest one that I know of.
Arkham Knight, but mostly that's just the PC version.
Yeah, and then Final Fantasy XIV when it first released.
Right.
That game was broken as fuck.
I mean, I haven't played Yooka-Laylee yet, but it seems to be a recurring theme that if you played on the non-PC version of that game, on the Xbone or PS4, that the initial release was not great. But then they patched it a few months later, and the people who actually took the time to go back and play it since then are just like, yeah, it's good now. But I think that initially that broke it.
Yeah.
It's got a shit name now because of its initial release. If they had taken the extra time to make sure that the console versions worked like the PC version, and I'm going exclusively off of the Completionist's review of that, where he said the PC version was great. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Then maybe we wouldn't have this problem. Hat in Time did the opposite thing, where they kept delaying until it was right, and now I'm just seeing really good reviews across the board for it. So just release it right the first time. People may bitch about it getting delayed, but fuck it.
Right, so long as it actually does come out, we're good. I remember they were going to do a Phantasy Star remake thing way back in the day. My dad was super excited for it. He grew up on Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
And it got delayed, and then pushed back like 7 damn years. And eventually, at that point, it's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm not going to play this. You still have to make progress and set realistic goals and just let people know, hey, it's coming, and keep working on it.
Yeah, if you keep giving updates or whatever. I think that Phantasy Star is out, though.
It eventually did come out, and it sucked donkey dick.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Josh fucking loves it. He's always loved Phantasy Star.
I love Phantasy Star. That version sucked donkey dick.
Interesting. Maybe it's not the same one. I don't know. That I'm thinking of. But anyway, guys, so our review for Psychonauts, we kind of got a little off kilter here, but 8.5 out of 10. I think that's a solid review for a game that's 12 years old at the time of this recording. So, alright guys, we will see you next time. Let us know what you think about the review in the comments.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Bye.